everyone. I welcome you for the session of Open Book Examination for Forestry Education. This will be an experience sharing session by Natalia Krishnambika from Forest Research Institute, deemed to be a university. Natalia Krishnambika is passionate about teaching forestry. She has completed her graduation in forestry from Kerala Agricultural University and completed her post-graduation from University of Agricultural Science, Dharwad. She took up full-fledged teaching assignments which included teaching undergraduates various subjects pertaining to forestry, preparing of lecture notes, practical manuals, and setting up examination papers. She has over 8-year experience and several publications in forestry ranging from research articles to book chapters. We welcome you, ma'am. I would like you to please share your experiences.
Thank you, Prahar. Thank you so much. I also like to thank These Days ION for giving my platform to talk on open book exams for forestry education. So all of you would have taken an exam that is restricted, open book exam that is restricted. At least I have taken it. That a typical example is if you are allowed to take your logarithm sheets or logarithm books to your examination halls when we are attempting mathematical papers. So that is an example for your open book restricted type of exams. So what is forestry education? Forestry education started way back in the year 1976 when the first university to set up to impart forestry education was Solon University. And today we at least have roughly around 51 universities that are offering forestry education. So forestry education is basically imparted in a semester system where the subjects that are at the beginner's level is taught at the earlier of the semesters, followed by advanced courses. So one of the trickiest part in forestry education is that we have been relying on very few fundamental books with respect to forestry education, roughly around 8 to 9. And most of the syllabuses across, if you see across universities in India, as well as neighboring states like Bhutan and Nepal, revolves around these books, these 8 or 9 books. And even for competitive examination point of view for the Indian Forest Service or the state forest services like your assistant conservator of forest or even subordinate exams like range officer, we typically rely on these 8 books. Now the question comes whether forestry education is simply restricted or the forestry knowledge is restricted only to these 8 books. No, because there has been a paradigm shift in how we perceive and how practical forestry has happened in the field. We have now started using your radio telemetry for monitoring of wildlife populations. There has been a change in how we perceive forest as a whole. From guarding it to now a conservation approach has taken place. So we need to understand that there has been a little or a no change of syllabus at all over a period starting from 1976, though various committees have been sitting on to change the syllabus. So if at all there has been a change of syllabus, it is primarily at the master's level. And we need to rapidly accommodate whatever has happened in the field onto your syllabus into the syllabus perspective, primarily because forestry is a professional course, and it is a science that deals with solving problems, practical applications. So what are the practical applications that we have in forestry? It helps in problem solving with related to forest department, like you need to solve, if you have problems with fire, how do you solve it? Okay, so if you have man-animal conflict, what are the technologies that have developed? How can you solve it? How do you know how to solve these problems? Or you have research and education aspects, how scientists can develop skill or teaching methodologies can be developed or innovations can be developed. Or you can also have business enterprise like the consultancy. We have heard much about consultancy in forestry, product-based value addition, and the new perspective that is brought in by the Niti Aayog and Department of Science and Technology, that is called as a technological business incubation, where your idea transcends into a business model. So for all this practical application, what we need to have is the right aptitude, right knowledge and skill. So for that, as students, what we need to do is whatever information we get, we need to process it. We need to constantly ask why and how instead of just memorizing it, and adopt quickly to new changes and adapt it. It is make it part of your lifestyle, just not for one examination point or just to get into interviews. No, it should be a part of our lifestyle to adapt to rapid changes that has been happening in forestry sector. Now, coming to the open book exams, we had a very unprecedented situation this year with respect to education, especially, and as well as other sectors also, that was the COVID. So just a small storyline on what happened in our university. The first case in Uttarakhand was reported from the FRI campus somewhere around March 15. So taking into consideration what would have the health implication, the university quickly shut down the authorities quickly shut down the universities, and the students were leaving for their homes. And in March 17th, 2 more cases were reported, and this was declared a containment zone long before the Prime Minister had announced for a nationwide lockdown. So we were in the mid of semesters, just like other universities. We were in the mid of semesters, and students just left home with their basic essentials, so clothes, laptops, your mobile phones, and everyone thought that okay, perhaps within a 1 month period of time would be coming back to classes, but that never happened. So they left their books behind and they proceeded. So now how did university basically solve this problem? We need to first arrange for these online classes. So there are several things that were kept in mind while we were arranging online classes. What is the best platform to take online classes? Whether all students were capable enough of taking up these online classes, because there are several technological glitches with it. Some of the students were residing in a very remote village, or they do not have an internet facility. Even in FRI, we do not have a proper internet connection, if you see in the residence, primarily because this is a reserve forest. So how faculty will be brought into the university to take classes? So all these were the glitches when it came to taking up classes online. But over a period of time, I think the university has evolved fantastically in taking up the online classes, as well as imparting education, forestry education. So there are several brainstorming sessions that were held how to set question papers, and it was realized that if you give them direct questions, it would be much easier for the students to answer it. So it was decided to avoid inclusions of questions of which answers could be directly obtained from your online or offline materials. And we decided it would be best if you give them questions that are more activity based, and or if we had taken them to the field, you give questions based upon the activities. So what do you when we give students a particular situation, what do you expect the students to basically do is to analyze the situation, to comprehend, and you come out with solving the problem entirely. So it can either be, you can represent it using graphs, you can represent it using flowcharts and other methods, how you want to put the message across. So what kind of platforms are being used nowadays for imparting forestry education? It ranges from WebEx to you have Google Classrooms. So all this technology, as a teacher, as an educator, I myself have to adapt to newer technologies so that I have an impartial delivery of my lecture, impartial assessment of my students, and that is the technology that we need to adapt. So we quickly come to the case study in forestry, how we had posed questions. So there are we have put two sets of questions because I deal with two subjects here. So the first subject deals basically with the forestry. So what is a recalcitrant seed? So recalcitrant seeds are basically seeds that require high moisture content and high moisture content for storing it. So if you ask a student in forestry what a recalcitrant seed is, especially in an open book exam, he or she would readily be able to answer it or pick it just from the lecture notes. But in order to write or the second question, briefly describe how to extract and process jamun seeds. So if I ask my students if they have not undergone forestry course, perhaps even to an engineering students, if I ask how do you eat jamun seeds, if you eat jamun fruits, how do you give me back the seeds? They'll simply say, I'll just suck the pulp and give you back the seed. Okay, but somehow over the period of time, if the same question is posed to a forestry students, they would think, even a science students, they'll practically think, perhaps because they have been overburdened by many things that they have to memorize rather than comprehend and put up that answer. Yes, so the second question here is, what is a PRA? So what is a PRA? PRA is a participatory rural appraisal program. So if you ask them what it is, they'll readily pick it from the lecture notes. But if you tell them you need to develop a micro plan for such and such a village, then they will be a bit apprehensive for writing such answers. So we take up the first case study, what is a recalcitrant seed versus briefly describe how to extract and process jamun seeds. What I found from my students, how they have written their open book exam, is that all the 42 of them wrote the answers perfectly well. But for the question number 1, they basically relied upon the lecture notes that was uploaded in their university website. For the second answer, most of them relied perhaps on the Wikispedia to answer it. So now the question comes, open book exam, unrestricted exam, whether you can rely upon these search engines for getting your answers. Okay, so even today, even if you have search engines or of immense material, students still are not applying their mind whether how to answer. Even if you have a search engine, they simply rely on how to copy and paste the answers into your notes. So that should be avoided by a student. What a student is required to do is understand the situation and try to comprehend it or understand it, and then try to solve the problem. So if my students had simply written, you just remove the pulp, putting it in water and you get the seeds, I would have been happy. Yes. So we take a second case study. So this is not an open book exam. This is basically to tell you how different countries have examination pattern that are that also makes the individuals to think a lot when they answer questions. So this is basically from the Bhutan Royal Civil Service Examination, and they basically have 3 question patterns set. So the first set is basically a multiple choice, and the second set is a question answer type, and the third, the C category or the third category, is basically a case study. So a case study is presented to a student. Remember, this is an online a closed book examination, and a case study is being given to the students. So the case study, or if you can read the case study, well and fine. So the case study is basically on the forest types in Bhutan, and now they are going to ask you what kind of a management would you propose for the broadleaved forest. So a student to answer this should have done some kind of a thinking during the study period before sitting for the exam, and he has to do a couple of more thought-provoking thought has to be provoked when answering such questions. So, how do you, in forestry, apart from what we saw in the other two examples, so if it is a practical examination, how do you pose questions? So, this is a question: if you are in charge of a wildlife sanctuary that is roughly having 900 square kilometers, and if you have major fauna as deer, leopard, etc., how will you manage activities? So in order to answer such question, you need to you need to process several things in your mind, starting from different kind of welfare factors. How will you put it, and how is the reaction that is going to happen when you're not concentrating just only on one species here. You're concentrating many species, fauna species. You are concentrating on plant species, and as a manager, how will you do it? So this is a case on practical, how you put a practical question to the forestry graduates. So to conclude, what we need to understand when we are teaching, as a teacher, when I'm teaching online as well as or in a physical form of teaching, we should actually make the students to enlighten the knowledge rather than simply memorizing the content, and we need to make the students appreciate the science behind it, the concepts, the practices. So whenever we set up question papers, it should be based on practical knowledge, or go for a situation analysis rather than direct questions from the books. Thank you.
So in the interest of time, we will now take one question. So I have one question is, just like that you mentioned about a case study asked with the help of wildlife sanctuary. So can there be only one correct answer for such question?
No, it is not just one correct answer, because we should actually think that it is a practical one. So each person will have a different perspective on how you try to address or how you try to solve problems. So you can have various answer, but then when we are dealing with such practical situation, we should understand that what best for the sanctuary should come out. So what best for the sanctuary would be what is the best practical answer. So that is how you rate such practical questions.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. That was a really nice answer. So it was an honor having you, ma'am, here with us and share your immense depth and knowledge. I hope this was a very interesting session for our participants as well.
Thank you, Prahad. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, TCS ION team. Thank you so much.